Jack Harrison looked at his watch as he stepped out of his Manhattan office building. It was already 8 in the evening and the city streets were busy with people going home from work. He had spent another long day dealing with meetings about his company's new artificial intelligence project. At 35 years old, Jack was one of the youngest billionaires in America, but success came with a price. He worked too much and slept too little. The cool October air felt good on his face as he walked toward Central Park. Jack had started jogging every evening 3 months ago, when his doctor warned him about stress. The park was his escape from the noise of business calls and computer screens. Tonight, like most nights, he wore his old gray sweatshirt and black running shoes. No one would guess he was worth $3 billion. Jack began his usual route through the park. The street lights made long shadows on the walking paths. Most people had gone home, leaving the park quiet and peaceful. He liked it this way. No crowds, no cameras, no people asking him for money or business deals. Just him, the trees, and the sound of his feet hitting the ground. He ran past the small lake where ducks sometimes swam during the day. The water looked dark and still in the moonlight. Jack was thinking about tomorrow's meeting when something caught his eye near the old oak trees. At first, he thought it might be a homeless person sleeping on the grass. The city had many people who lived in the park because they had nowhere else to go. But as he got closer, Jack saw something strange. The person lying on the ground was a young woman, maybe 20 years old. She was lying very still, too still. Her clothes looked unusual, not like anything he had seen before. They seemed to shine slightly in the dark like they were made of some kind of metal fabric. Jack stopped running and walked carefully toward the girl. She was unconscious, but he could see she was breathing. Her skin was very pale, almost white, and it seemed to glow softly in the moonlight. This was not normal. Jack had never seen anyone with skin like this. He knelt down beside her and gently touched her shoulder. "Miss, are you okay?" he asked quietly. She did not move or open her eyes. Jack looked around the park, but there was no one else nearby. No signs of an accident or fight. The girl seemed to have just appeared there. Jack pulled out his phone to call 911. While he waited for the operator to answer, he looked more closely at the girl's clothes. They were definitely not made of normal fabric. The material felt smooth and cold like metal, but it moved like cloth. There were small symbols on her sleeve that looked like writing, but not in any language Jack recognized. "What is your emergency?" the operator asked. "I found an unconscious woman in Central Park," Jack said. "She's breathing but won't wake up. I'm near the Oak Grove on the east side. We're sending an ambulance now, sir. Please stay with her until help arrives." Jack put his phone away and sat on the grass next to the girl. He noticed she was wearing something on her wrist that looked like a watch, but it was much more complex. It had a small screen with moving lights and symbols. Sometimes the lights would flash in patterns like it was trying to communicate something. The girl's face was peaceful, almost beautiful, but there was something different about her features. Her ears were slightly pointed, and her eyebrows had an unusual arch. Jack began to wonder if she might be wearing some kind of costume or makeup for a movie or play. 10 minutes later, Jack heard the ambulance sirens getting closer. Soon, 2 paramedics arrived with their equipment. Jack stood up and waved to them. "She's over here," he called out. The paramedics, a man and a woman, came over quickly with their medical bag and stretcher. But as soon as they got near the girl, something strange happened. Their equipment started making weird noises. The heart monitor began beeping wildly, and the radio started producing static sounds. "That's odd," the male paramedic said, looking at his equipment. Everything was working fine a minute ago. The female paramedic tried to check the girl's pulse, but her electronic blood pressure device wouldn't work properly. She had to use an old manual one instead. "Her vital signs are strange," she said to her partner. "Her heartbeat is much slower than normal, but she seems stable." Jack watched as the paramedics tried to wake the girl up. They shined lights in her eyes and called to her, but she remained unconscious. Her breathing was steady, and she didn't seem to be in any danger, but something about the whole situation felt wrong. "Do you know her?" the female paramedic asked Jack. Jack was about to say no, but something made him pause. If he said he didn't know her, they would take her to the hospital. The doctors would ask questions about her strange appearance and unusual clothes, They might call the police or the newspapers. Jack had a feeling this girl needed protection, not attention. Yes, Jack said quietly. She's my cousin. She's been having some health problems lately. The paramedics looked at each other. We should still take her to the hospital for tests, the man said. I understand, Jack replied. But she has a special doctor who knows about her condition. I can take care of her tonight and bring her to see him tomorrow. Would that be okay? The paramedics weren't sure, but Jack was polite and seemed genuinely concerned about the girl. They could see she wasn't in immediate danger, and they had other emergency calls waiting. All right, the woman said. But if her condition gets worse, call us immediately. After the paramedics left, Jack carefully picked up the unconscious girl. She was lighter than he expected, almost as if her bones were hollow like a bird's. He carried her to his car, which was parked nearby, and gently placed her in the back seat. During the drive to his apartment, Jack kept looking at the girl in his rearview mirror. She hadn't moved at all, but the device on her wrist continued to flash its mysterious lights. Jack had made many important decisions in his business career, but bringing this strange girl to his home felt like the most significant choice he had ever made. When he reached his penthouse apartment on the Upper East Side, Jack's housekeeper, Maria Santos, was still there cleaning the kitchen after dinner. Mr. Harrison, Maria said with surprise. You're back early. And who is this? I found her unconscious in the park, Jack explained as he carried the girl to the guest bedroom. Something's not right about this situation, Maria. I think she might need our help. Maria, who had worked for Jack for 5 years and trusted his judgment, helped him make the girl comfortable. They removed her strange metallic shoes and covered her with blankets. Maria noticed the same things Jack had seen, the unusual skin, the pointed ears, and the mysterious device on the girl's wrist. Should we call a doctor? Maria asked. Let's wait until morning, Jack said. If she doesn't wake up by then, we'll figure out what to do. As Jack finally went to bed that night, he couldn't stop thinking about the mysterious girl sleeping in his guest room. He had no idea that his simple act of kindness would soon change not just his life, but the fate of the entire human race. 3 days passed before the girl opened her eyes. Jack had checked on her every few hours, worried about her strange condition. Her breathing remained steady, and her skin still had that unusual pale glow. The device on her wrist continued to flash its mysterious patterns, sometimes faster, sometimes slower. On Tuesday morning, Jack was drinking coffee in his kitchen when he heard a scream from the guest room. He ran quickly down the hallway with Maria right behind him. They found the girl sitting up in bed, looking around the room with wide, frightened eyes. Where am I? She asked in perfect English, though her voice had a musical quality that sounded different from any accent Jack had ever heard. You're safe, Jack said gently, staying near the doorway so he wouldn't scare her. I'm Jack, and this is Maria. I found you unconscious in Central Park 3 days ago. The girl looked at Jack carefully, studying his face. You helped me? She asked as if this was hard to believe. Of course, Jack replied. You needed help. Are you feeling okay? Do you remember what happened to you? The girl touched her head and winced slightly. My name is Luna, she said slowly. I remember falling. There was pain, and then darkness. She looked around the expensive apartment with confusion. This is your home? Yes, Jack said. Would you like some water or food? You haven't eaten anything in 3 days. Luna stared at Jack for a long moment. You brought me to your home? You gave me your bed and food? Her eyes began to fill with tears. But you don't even know me. Jack was surprised by her reaction. Of course I helped you. Anyone would do the same thing. No, Luna said, shaking her head. No, they wouldn't. Where I come from, no one helps strangers. No one gives without expecting something in return. She began to cry softly. I don't understand humans. You're not supposed to be like this. Maria brought a glass of water and some soup for Luna. The girl accepted the food carefully as if she expected it might be poisoned. When she tasted the soup, she looked amazed. This is wonderful, Luna said. On my world, Food is just for nutrition. It doesn't taste like this. Your world? Jack asked, sitting in a chair near the bed. What do you mean? Luna looked at Jack and Maria for a long time as if deciding whether to trust them. Finally, she spoke. I am not from Earth, she said quietly. I am from a planet called Zephyr, far away from here. My people sent me to study your planet. Jack thought Luna might be confused from her injury, but her eyes were clear and intelligent. You're saying you're an alien? Yes, Luna said. My people are called Zephyrians. We have been watching Earth for many years, learning about humans. She touched the device on her wrist. This is how I communicate with my ship and record information. Maria crossed herself and whispered a prayer in Spanish. Jack leaned forward, fascinated despite his disbelief. Why were you studying us? Jack asked. Luna's expression became sad. Because my people are planning to invade your planet. They sent me to find weaknesses in human society, to learn how to defeat you easily. Jack felt cold. Invade? Why? Because that's what Zephyrians do, Luna explained. We take resources from other worlds. We make the people slaves or eliminate them if they resist. It's been our way for thousands of years. But you said your people think humans are different, Jack said. What did you discover? Luna wiped her eyes. I was supposed to study human behavior for 6 months. I watched from a distance, recording everything. I saw humans fighting each other, being cruel, taking things that didn't belong to them. At first I thought my leaders were right about your species. She paused and looked directly at Jack. But then I saw other things. I saw humans helping each other during disasters. I watched people give money to strangers who needed food. I saw parents sacrifice their own happiness for their children. I watched teachers stay late to help students and doctors work without sleep to save lives. Luna stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the city. I saw a man jump into a frozen river to save a dog that had fallen through the ice. The dog wasn't even his. I saw an old woman share her lunch with a homeless person every day for a month. I watched firefighters run into burning buildings to save people they had never met. Jack and Maria listened quietly as Luna continued. My people have forgotten how to do these things. We are logical and efficient, but we have no, what is your word? Compassion? We think emotions make us weak. What happened to you in the park? Jack asked. Luna turned from the window. I was supposed to send my final report to my people and give them permission to begin the invasion, but I couldn't do it. I wrote a report saying that humans were too dangerous to attack, that you had weapons and defenses my people couldn't understand. Do we? Jack asked. Not the kind of weapons my leaders think about, Luna said. But you have something more powerful. You have the ability to love people you've never met. You fight hardest when you're protecting others, not yourselves. My people don't understand this. Luna sat back down on the bed. When I refused to send the invasion signal, my commander became angry. He said I had been infected by human emotions and ordered me to return to the ship immediately. I tried to escape in a small pod, but it crashed in your park. Where is your ship now? Jack asked. Hidden on the far side of your moon, Luna replied. There are 50,000 Zephyrian soldiers waiting for my signal. If I don't contact them soon, they will come looking for me. Jack felt overwhelmed by this information. How long do we have? Luna looked at her wrist device. Maybe 1 week, maybe less. When they find me, they will kill anyone who has seen me. Then they will begin the invasion. Maria spoke for the first time since Luna had started talking. Why are you telling us this? Isn't it dangerous for your people to know you betrayed them? Luna smiled sadly. Because in 3 days, you have shown me more kindness than I received. In 20 years on my own world. Jack could have left me in the park, but he helped me. You could have called the authorities, but you're taking care of me instead. This is what humans do. You protect people who need help, even when it's dangerous. For you, she looked at both of them. I don't want my people to destroy your world. Humans aren't perfect, but you have something beautiful that my people lost long ago. You have hope and love. and the willingness to sacrifice for others. Jack stood up and began pacing around the room. What can we do? How do we fight an army of 50,000 aliens with advanced technology? I don't know, Luna said honestly. My people's weapons are much more powerful than anything humans have. But, she paused, thinking. But they expect humans to behave logically, like Zephyrians do. They don't understand that humans become stronger when facing impossible odds. They don't know that you fight differently when you're protecting something you love. Jack stopped pacing and looked at Luna. Will you help us? Luna nodded without hesitation. Yes. I know it means I can never go home again. I know my own people will hunt me, but I've learned something important in the past few days. What's that? Jack asked. Home isn't a place, Luna said. It's where people care about you, even when they don't have to. For the first time in my life, I feel like I'm home. Maria reached over and gently took Luna's hand. Then we'll face this together, she said. That's what families do. Luna squeezed Maria's hand and smiled through her tears. Jack realized that their simple act of kindness toward a stranger had just made them part of something much bigger than they had ever imagined. The fight for Earth was about to begin, and it would be won or lost not with weapons, but with the one thing that made humans unique in the galaxy: their ability to love. 2 days after Luna told them the truth, Jack was making breakfast when he heard a loud beeping sound from the guest room. He rushed in to find Luna staring at her wrist device in horror. The small screen was flashing bright red lights, and strange symbols were moving across it quickly. What's happening? Jack asked. They found me, Luna said, her voice shaking. My people have located my signal. This device has been sending out a weak transmission that I couldn't turn off completely. Maria came into the room, worried by the noise. What does this mean? Luna stood up and walked to the window, looking at the sky. It means a strike team is coming to find me. They will arrive very soon. Jack joined her at the window. How many? Usually 5 or 6 soldiers, Luna replied. They are much stronger and faster than humans, and they have advanced weapons. Their leader will be Commander Vex. He trained me when I was young. We need to call the police, Maria said. Luna shook her head. Human weapons cannot hurt Zephyrian soldiers. Their suits protect them from bullets and explosions. The police would only get killed. Jack thought for a moment. I have friends who might be able to help. Military people with access to better equipment. He picked up his phone and called Colonel Pete Davis, an old friend from his college days, who now worked at the Pentagon. Pete had helped Jack with security contracts for his company before. Pete, it's Jack Harrison. I need your help with something very important and very strange. What's going on, Jack? I can't explain over the phone. Can you come to my apartment right away and bring Dr. Lisa Morgan if she's available? Pete knew Jack well enough to hear the urgency in his voice. Lisa's here working on a project. We'll be there in 30 minutes. While they waited, Luna taught Jack and Maria about Zephyrian technology and weaknesses. She showed them pictures on her device of the alien soldiers and their equipment. Zephyrians are very logical, Luna explained. They always follow the same patterns and strategies. They expect their enemies to do the same. But humans think differently. You do unexpected things that don't make sense to us. Like what? Jack asked. Like risking your life to save strangers, Luna said, or fighting harder when you're protecting others instead of yourselves. Zephyrians fight only for personal survival or logical gain. We don't understand dying for ideas or other people. When Pete and Lisa arrived, Jack introduced them to Luna and explained the situation. Pete, a tough military man, listened with growing amazement. Lisa, a brilliant scientist who worked on advanced government projects, was fascinated by Luna's technology. You're telling me there's an alien invasion force waiting behind the moon? Pete asked. 50,000 ships, Luna confirmed. Each ship carries 100 soldiers and advanced weapons. Lisa studied Luna's wrist device carefully. This technology is incredible. The power source alone is beyond anything we have. But there must be weaknesses, Pete said. Every system has flaws. Luna nodded. Yes, but the weakness isn't in the technology. It's in how my people think. Zephyrian computers and weapons are programmed to respond to logical behavior patterns. When something doesn't follow expected logic, the systems get confused. Jack was starting to understand. So if humans act in ways that seem crazy or illogical, it might confuse their systems. Exactly, Luna said. But there's something else. Zephyrian technology works perfectly in controlled situations, but it has problems with chaos and unpredictable events. Suddenly, Luna's device beeped again, this time with a different sound. They're here, she whispered. The strike team has landed in the mountains north of the city. Pete immediately got on his phone to contact his military contacts, but Luna stopped him. Commander Vex will detect any military movement in the area. Right now he thinks I'm alone and helpless. We should use that advantage. What do you suggest? Jack asked. Let them come to me, Luna said. But we need to prepare surprises they won't expect. Over the next few hours, the group worked together to create a plan. Lisa studied Luna's technology and found ways to interfere with Zephyrian equipment using Earth-based electronics. Pete contacted a few trusted military friends who could provide help without official involvement. But their planning was interrupted when Maria didn't return from her grocery shopping trip. Luna's device picked up a Zephyrian signal from across the city. They have Maria, Luna said, looking at the readings on her device. Commander Vex is using her to force me to surrender. Jack felt angry and afraid. Maria was like family to him, and now she was in danger because of his decision to help Luna. We have to save her, Jack said. It's a trap, Pete warned. They want you to come after her. Luna looked at the device again. Vex is broadcasting a message to me. He says I have 2 hours to come alone to the old warehouse district, or he will kill Maria and then hunt down everyone who helped me. I won't let Maria die because of me, Jack said firmly. And I won't let you sacrifice yourself, Luna replied. There has to be another way. Lisa had been quiet, studying the technical readings on Luna's device. What if we don't do what they expect? She said suddenly. What do you mean? Pete asked. Luna said their weakness is dealing with illogical behavior, Lisa explained. What if instead of trying to rescue Maria secretly, we do something completely unexpected? Jack was interested. Like what? What if we don't hide from them at all? Lisa said. What if we make so much noise and chaos that their systems can't handle it? Luna looked thoughtful. Zephyrian soldiers are trained to deal with military attacks and logical resistance, but they've never faced anything truly chaotic. Pete was skeptical. You want to attack a superior alien force with chaos? Not attack, Jack said, understanding Lisa's idea. Confuse them. Make them deal with so many unexpected things at once that they can't process it all. Luna smiled for the first time since the crisis began. It might work. Zephyrian training focuses on efficiency and order. Pure chaos is our greatest weakness. They spent the next hour planning their rescue mission. Instead of a careful military operation, they would create controlled chaos using everything from fireworks to construction equipment. Pete called in favors from friends who owned businesses around the warehouse district. This is either going to be brilliant or get us all killed, Pete said as they prepared to leave. That's exactly why it might work, Luna replied. No Zephyrian would ever expect humans to try something this crazy. As they drove toward the warehouse district, Jack thought about how much his life had changed in just a few days. He had gone from being a businessman worried about profit margins to someone preparing to fight alien soldiers to save his housekeeper and protect his planet. Luna, he said as they got closer to their destination, what will happen to you if we succeed? I will never be able to return to my people, Luna said quietly. I will be considered a traitor forever. Do you regret helping us? Luna looked at Jack, Pete, and Lisa, all risking their lives for someone they barely knew. Never. I've learned what it means to have real friends. That's worth more than anything my old world could offer me. Jack nodded, understanding that they were all about to discover just how far humans would go to protect the people they cared about. The battle for Maria's life was about to begin. and with it, the first test of whether human courage and chaos could defeat alien logic and technology. The warehouse district appeared ahead of them, dark and quiet. Somewhere in those buildings, Commander Vex was waiting with Maria, expecting Luna to surrender quietly. He was about to learn his first lesson about human unpredictability. Jack's team arrived at the warehouse district 30 minutes before the deadline. The area was full of old buildings where companies stored goods and equipment. Most of the businesses were closed for the evening, making the streets empty, and Dark Pete had called his friend Ryan Clark, a computer expert who worked for the government on secret projects. Ryan brought special equipment in a van that looked like a repair truck. He also contacted Kate Williams, who used to work for NASA, and now designed robots for construction companies. "This is insane," Ryan said as he set up his computers in the back of the van. "We're about to fight aliens with construction equipment and fireworks." "That's exactly why it might work," Luna said, monitoring her device for Zephyrian signals. "Look, I can see their positions. Commander Vex has 4 soldiers with him. They're in the large warehouse at the end of the street. Kate arrived in a huge construction truck with a crane attached. I brought everything I could think of," she said. "Concrete mixers, jackhammers, and some really loud machinery." Lisa finished setting up her electronic equipment. "I've been analyzing Luna's device all day. I think I can create interference that will confuse their communication systems." "How?" Jack asked. "Zephyrian technology uses very precise frequencies," Lisa explained. "If I flood the area with random electronic signals, their equipment might not work properly." Luna looked worried. "But that might also stop my device from working. We won't be able to track them." "That's a risk we have to take," Pete said. "Ryan, what about your computer virus idea?" Ryan held up a small device. "I've programmed this with random emotional patterns, things like human reactions to music, art, and poetry. If I can connect it to their systems, it should cause chaos in their computers." "How do we get close enough to use it?" Kate asked. Jack had been thinking about this problem. "We don't sneak up on them. We make them come to us." "What do you mean?" Pete asked. "We create so much noise and confusion that they have to investigate," Jack explained. "Then, when they're trying to figure out what's happening, we hit them with everything at once." Luna smiled. "Commander Vex expects me to come alone and surrender quietly. He will not know how to react when humans start behaving completely illogically." They spent 20 minutes setting up their equipment around the warehouse area. Kate positioned her construction machines at different points, ready to create maximum noise and chaos. Ryan hid his computers where they could jam the alien communications. Lisa placed her electronic interference devices to cover the whole area. Pete had brought some special weapons from his military contacts, but Luna warned him they probably wouldn't work against Zephyrian armor. "Use them as a last resort," she said. "The confusion tactics are our best hope." As the deadline approached, Jack felt nervous, but determined. He thought about Maria, probably scared and wondering if anyone would come to help her. He thought about Luna, who had given up everything to protect a planet that wasn't even her home. He thought about the millions of people in the city who had no idea their world was about to change forever. "Everyone ready?" Jack asked through their radio system. "Ready," came the replies from all positions. Luna took a deep breath. "I'm going to walk toward the warehouse now. Remember, wait for my signal before you start." Jack watched Luna walk down the dark street toward the building where the aliens were waiting. She looked small and alone, but Jack knew she was braver than anyone he had ever met. When Luna reached the warehouse, a bright light suddenly appeared above the building. Commander Vex's voice echoed across the area, speaking in English but with a strange accent. "Luna of the Zephyrian Reconnaissance Unit, you will surrender immediately. Your betrayal of our mission has been noted. You will return with us for judgment." Luna's voice came through the radio to her human friends. "He's coming out with 2 soldiers. Maria is inside with the other 2. Jack could see 3 figures emerging from the warehouse. They were tall, much taller than humans, and wore dark armor that seemed to absorb light. Their faces were hidden behind helmets, and they carried weapons that glowed with blue energy. "You have caused great difficulty for our mission," Commander Vex said to Luna. Explain why you betrayed your own species for these primitive creatures. Because these primitive creatures taught me something my people forgot long ago, Luna replied. They taught me that some things are more important than logic and efficiency. Commander Vex made a sound that might have been laughter. Emotion makes you weak. It clouds your judgment. This is why humans will be easily defeated. Then you don't understand humans at all, Luna said. She pressed a button on her device, sending the signal to her friends. Suddenly, the quiet warehouse district exploded into chaos. Kate started every piece of construction equipment at once, creating a deafening noise of engines, jackhammers, and machinery. Ryan activated his electronic jamming systems, filling the air with random radio signals. Lisa turned on her interference devices, creating electrical disturbances that made the lights flicker and spark. But the humans weren't finished. Pete had arranged for his friends to set off fireworks from multiple locations, filling the sky with bright colors and loud explosions. Music began playing from hidden speakers, not just any music, but a mixture of rock music, classical symphonies, and children's songs all playing at the same time. The Zephyrian soldiers immediately raised their weapons, but they couldn't figure out where the attack was coming from. Their equipment started malfunctioning as Lisa's interference signals confused their systems. The random noise made it impossible for them to communicate with each other or their ship. "What is this?" Commander Vex shouted, trying to understand what was happening. Ryan saw his chance and ran toward the confused aliens with his computer virus device. The Zephyrians noticed him, but they couldn't aim properly because of all the flashing lights and loud noises. Kate drove her construction crane straight toward the warehouse, not to attack the aliens, but to crash through the wall and create even more chaos. The building shook as the crane smashed through the concrete, creating a huge cloud of dust. Jack used the confusion to run toward the warehouse where Maria was being held. 2 Zephyrian soldiers came out to stop him, but they were disoriented by all the noise and lights. Their advanced targeting systems couldn't lock onto targets in all the chaos. Luna fought her way toward Commander Vex, who was trying to restore order among his soldiers. "You see?" she called out over the noise. "Humans don't fight the way you expect. They don't follow your logical patterns." Commander Vex tried to shoot Luna with his energy weapon, but the electrical interference made it spark and fail. "This is impossible," he said. "Our technology is superior." "Your technology is designed to fight logical enemies," Luna replied. "But humans aren't logical when they're protecting people they love." Jack found Maria tied up in a corner of the warehouse. She was scared but unhurt. "Mr. Harrison," she said with relief, "I knew you would come." "Of course I came," Jack said as he untied her. "That's what families do for each other." As they escaped from the warehouse, Jack could see that their plan was working. The Zephyrian soldiers were confused and unable to coordinate their actions. Their superior technology was useless against pure human chaos and unpredictability. But Jack knew this was just the beginning. They had won this small battle, but somewhere behind the moon, 50,000 Zephyrian ships were waiting. The real test of human courage and creativity was still to come. After rescuing Maria, Jack's team regrouped at a safe house that Pete had arranged outside the city. Commander Vex and his soldiers had retreated to their landing site in the mountains, but Luna's device showed they were preparing to contact the main fleet. "We have maybe 12 hours before Vex reports to the invasion force," Luna said, studying the readings on her wrist device. "Once he tells them what happened, they will begin the attack immediately." Jack looked at his exhausted team. Maria was safe but shaken. Ryan was working on his computers trying to improve his virus program. Kate was checking her construction equipment for damage. Lisa and Pete were planning their next move. "We proved that we can confuse a small group of Zephyrian soldiers," Jack said. "But how do we stop 50,000 ships?" Luna walked to the window and looked at the stars. "There might be a way," she said slowly. "But it's very dangerous and it might not work." "Tell us," Pete said. "The Zephyrian fleet is waiting for a signal from Commander Vex," Luna explained. "If we could use their communication system to send our own message to the fleet, we might be able to show them something they've never seen before." "What kind of message?" Lisa asked. Luna turned from the window. A message that shows them what humanity really is. Not just the fighting and chaos we use tonight, but everything that makes humans special. Ryan looked up from his computers. You want to hack into an alien communication system? Not hack, Luna said. I still have access codes to their network. As long as they haven't discovered that I'm helping you, I can send a transmission to the entire fleet. Jack was interested. What would we tell them? We show them the truth about humans, Luna said. My people think humans are primitive and violent. They expect you to fight like animals when cornered. But that's not what makes humans dangerous to Zephyrians. Then what does? Kate asked. Your ability to inspire each other, Luna replied. Zephyrians fight as individuals even when we're in groups. But humans become stronger when they're fighting for something bigger than themselves. Maria, who had been quiet since her rescue, spoke up. You want to show them that we fight for love, not just survival. Exactly, Luna said. If the fleet sees what humans are really capable of when they're protecting others, some of them might question the invasion. Pete was skeptical. You think a video message is going to stop an alien army? Not stop, Luna said, but maybe divide them. Not all Zephyrians support the invasion. Many of my people have begun to question our old ways. If they see something that challenges their beliefs about humans, it might cause confusion in their ranks. Jack made a decision. What do we need to do? Luna pointed toward the mountains. We need to get to Commander Vex's communication equipment. It's the only way to reach the fleet with a strong enough signal. That's suicide, Ryan said. They'll be expecting us to try something. Not if we give them something else to worry about, Jack said, an idea forming in his mind. What if we create an even bigger distraction than before? Over the next few hours, Jack contacted people he trusted around the world. He called business partners, government officials, and old friends. He told them an incredible story about an alien invasion and asked them to trust him enough to help with something that sounded impossible. Most people thought Jack had lost his mind, but a few believed him. More importantly, they trusted him enough to help anyway. Jack's reputation as an honest businessman opened doors that would have stayed closed for anyone else. Meanwhile, Luna and Lisa worked together to create the message they would send to the Zephyrian fleet. They gathered videos from news reports, documentaries, and social media posts that showed humans at their best and worst. We need to show them everything, Luna said. The violence and cruelty, but also the kindness and sacrifice. They need to see that humans are complicated, not simple. The message they created was unlike anything the Zephyrians had ever seen. It showed humans fighting wars, but also humans helping disaster victims. It showed crime and hatred, but also teachers helping students and strangers saving each other's lives. The most powerful part of the message was a collection of moments when humans chose to help others, even when it put them in danger. A firefighter carrying a child from a burning building, a doctor working without sleep during a pandemic, a stranger jumping into icy water to save someone who had fallen through the ice. This is what my leaders don't understand, Luna said as they finished the message. Humans don't just fight for survival. You fight for ideas, for people you love, for strangers you've never met. You fight for the right of others to exist and be happy. Jack ended the message with words spoken directly to the Zephyrian fleet. We know you are stronger and have better weapons than we do. We know you could destroy our cities and kill millions of our people. But you have never fought a species that becomes more dangerous when we're protecting others. Every human on this planet will fight not just for themselves, but for their families, their neighbors, and for people they will never meet. We will fight for ideas you have forgotten how to understand. Come if you must, but know that you are not just fighting humans. You are fighting everything that makes life worth living. As dawn approached, the team prepared for their most dangerous mission yet. They would have to get close enough to the Zephyrian communication equipment to send their message, while creating enough chaos to prevent Commander Vex from stopping them. Pete had arranged for military units around the world to create coordinated distractions. Ryan had improved his virus to affect Zephyrian systems more effectively. Kate had gathered even more construction equipment for their assault, But the most important part of their plan depended on something that couldn't be programmed or planned. The hope that somewhere in the Zephyrian fleet, there were soldiers who still remembered what it felt like to care about something more than logic and efficiency. "Are you ready?" Jack asked Luna as they approached the mountains where the alien strike team was camped. "I'm scared," Luna admitted. "If this doesn't work, I will have doomed both our species." "And if it does work?" Maria asked. Luna smiled. "Then maybe my people will remember what they forgot when they chose logic over love. Maybe they'll see that the strongest force in the universe isn't technology or weapons. It's the willingness to sacrifice everything for others." Jack looked at his team, ordinary people who had become heroes because someone needed their help. "Then let's show them what humans are really made of." The communication array was visible ahead of them, guarded by alien soldiers who had no idea that their entire worldview was about to be challenged by a simple message about the power of human love. The attack on the Zephyrian communication site began at sunrise. Jack's team approached from 3 different directions, each group creating maximum chaos to confuse the alien soldiers. Kate led her construction machines in a loud, direct assault from the front. Pete and his military friends attacked from the left side with explosive charges and bright flares. Ryan came from the right, using electronic jamming equipment to disrupt the aliens' weapons and communication. Commander Vex and his soldiers tried to respond to the attacks, but they couldn't understand why humans would announce their presence so loudly instead of sneaking quietly. The Zephyrian battle computers kept trying to find logical patterns in the human assault, but there weren't any. While the aliens were distracted by the chaos, Jack and Luna slipped into the communication center. The equipment looked like nothing Jack had ever seen. Crystal panels covered with moving lights and symbols that changed constantly. "How long do you need?" Jack asked, as Luna connected her device to the alien system. 2 minutes to upload our message, Luna replied, her fingers moving quickly across the crystal controls. "But once I start, Commander Vex will know what we're doing." "Then we better make those 2 minutes count," Jack said, speaking into his radio. "Everyone increase the noise now." Outside, Kate started every piece of construction equipment at maximum volume. Pete's team set off fireworks and flares that filled the sky with light and sound. Ryan activated every electronic device he had brought, creating a storm of radio interference. But something unexpected began happening around the world. Jack's message to his contacts had spread beyond the few people he had called. News reporters picked up the story. Social media users shared videos of the strange events. Within hours, millions of people learned about the alien threat. Instead of panicking, humans did what they always did when facing danger. They came together. Amateur. Radio operators around the world began broadcasting music and poetry into space, trying to jam alien communications. Computer hackers used Ryan's virus design to attack any alien systems they could find. In New York, people gathered in Times Square holding signs with messages of defiance, written in dozens of languages. In London, Big Ben rang continuously while people sang in the streets. In Tokyo, millions of citizens turned on flashlights and pointed them at the sky, creating a message of light visible from space. Luna watched her upload progress while monitoring Zephyrian communications. "Something's happening on the fleet," she said with amazement. "My people are arguing with each other. The message is causing division among the commanders." Commander Vex suddenly burst into the communication center with 2 soldiers. "Stop this. Immediately," he ordered Luna. "You are destroying everything our people have worked for." "No," Luna said, not moving from the controls. "I'm saving both our peoples from a terrible mistake." Vex raised his weapon at Luna, but Jack stepped between them. "You'll have to go through me first." "You would die for someone who isn't even your species?" Vex asked, confused by Jack's behavior. "That's exactly what humans do," Jack replied. "We protect people who need our help, no matter who they are or where they come from." The upload reached 90% completion. On the main Zephyrian fleet, Luna's message was being broadcast to all 50,000 ships. The video showed humans at their worst and best, fighting each other, but also sacrificing everything for strangers. The message challenged everything. The Zephyrians believed about human nature. Many Zephyrian soldiers had never seen anything like the images in Luna's message. They watched humans risk their lives to save animals from disasters. They saw teachers stay after school to help struggling students. They witnessed strangers giving money to people they had never met. Most importantly, they saw humans fighting not for personal gain, but for abstract ideas like freedom, justice, and the right of others to live happy lives. The Zephyrian fleet fell into chaos. Some commanders wanted to begin the invasion immediately, before the humans could organize better defenses, but other commanders questioned whether they should attack a species capable of such selfless behavior. Commander Vex could hear the arguments through his communication system. "You have doomed us all," he told Luna. "My people don't know how to handle doubt and confusion." "Maybe it's time they learned," Luna replied as the upload reached 100%. Suddenly, the communication center filled with new voices. Zephyrian soldiers from the fleet were broadcasting their own messages, asking questions that had never been allowed before. Why were they conquering other worlds? What had they gained by abandoning emotion and compassion? Was logical efficiency really more important than the ability to love and sacrifice for others? Commander Vex tried to restore order, but his authority was breaking down. Many of his own soldiers were refusing to follow orders that didn't make sense to them anymore. Outside the communication center, the human chaos was spreading across the planet. Every major city had people in the streets, not hiding in fear, but standing together and showing defiance. Children released balloons with drawings and messages of peace. Artists created huge murals visible from space. Musicians played concerts that were broadcast to the alien fleet. The response was so chaotic and unpredictable that the Zephyrian invasion computers couldn't process it. The aliens had planned for military resistance, panic, or surrender. They had not planned for millions of humans to respond with creativity, art, and messages of hope. Luna's wrist device showed her readings from the fleet. "Half the ships are refusing to participate in the invasion," she announced. "The other half are arguing about whether to attack or retreat." Commander Vex looked defeated. "This is not how wars are supposed to be fought." "It's not a war," Jack said. "It's a choice. Your people can choose to be conquerors, or they can choose to be something better." 3 hours later, the Zephyrian fleet began to split apart. 25,000 ships turned away from Earth and headed back toward their home planet. But the other 25,000 ships came closer to Earth, not to attack but to surrender. Many Zephyrian soldiers had decided they wanted to learn about the emotions and compassion their species had abandoned. They wanted to understand how humans could be so willing to help strangers and fight for ideas instead of just survival. Commander Vex was among those who chose to stay. "I don't understand your people," he told Jack, "but I want to learn." Luna became the ambassador between the two species. She helped the surrendering Zephyrians find places to live on Earth while they learned about human emotions and relationships. Many humans welcomed the aliens, showing them the same kindness that Jack had shown Luna. Jack returned to his normal life, but everything was different now. His company began working with Zephyrian scientists to develop new technologies that combined alien logic with human creativity. The results were amazing inventions that neither species could have created alone. Maria became the head housekeeper for a building where many Zephyrian refugees lived, teaching them about human customs and helping them feel at home on their new planet. 6 months later, Jack and Luna were married in a ceremony that was broadcast across the galaxy. It was the first wedding between a human and a Zephyrian, and it symbolized the new friendship between their peoples. The remaining Zephyrian empire, now led by soldiers who had learned about compassion from humans, began helping other worlds instead of conquering them. They discovered that cooperation and friendship created much better results than force and domination. Jack often thought about that night in Central Park when he found an unconscious girl and decided to help her. His simple act of kindness had changed not just his life but the fate of 2 entire species. Luna had been right about humans all along. Their greatest strength wasn't technology or weapons. It was their ability to love strangers, fight for others, and never give up hope. Even when facing impossible odds, in the end that was enough to change the galaxy.